Welcome to another YouTube video. This YouTube video looks at the spelling task where I asked you to create some words using the prefixes in, il, im and ir. These all mean the opposite. So for example, if someone's very active, it means they're doing lots of physical things. But if I take the active and I add into it, creating inactive, in is a prefix, so it goes in front of the root word. The root word is active. I get inactive, which means you don't do a lot of physical activity. Let's have a look one from this column. Logical means you really think things through in a very methodical, step-by-step way. If you are illogical, so I have the word logical, which is my root word, and I add the prefix il, so I get illogical, it means you don't think things through, you kind of maybe rush into things. Let's look at one from this column. If I say something is possible, it means I can do it. But if I add the prefix im in front of it, I get impossible, which means I can't do it. And finally, I've got the prefix ir, and this means the opposite of regular. If something is a regular shape, all the sides are the same length, I can go, that's regular. But if all the sides are different lengths, I can say it is irregular. And you can see really easily how you can use these. I'd like you to create all the words you can. You'll notice there are 4 columns, because although we're using the opposite meaning every time, you'll notice the spelling pattern is different. And something I'd love you to do is have a look at the patterns. So when I copied these ones, I noticed the pattern. So if your word begins with an A or C, you always put the in front of it. Inactive, inaccurate, inaccessible. If you have got a word that begins in an L, you use the IL. So you get the double L there. So that's a really easy one to remember, I think. Illegal, illogical, illegible, illiterate. Im, again, if a word begins with M, you get the IM, so that's nice and easy to remember. But also watch out for P's as well, like impolite and immobile. And finally, these two I think are really easy to remember, because you go IL if your word begins with L, and IR if your word begins with R, IM if your word begins with M, but don't forget IM also does P, and IN does A and C. If you can spot any other patterns, let me know. As always, keep learning.